the needs for language assistance and support, is really in every sphere of life, from, understanding, from the first moment people, are here, understanding the, housing and health and employment, mental health, our various cumbersome systems. So having information in the language that people understand, and in the format, it's not only, enough to have something in print, posted on some website, but it's also critical that that information is accessible to people. So the key to, our success, to the success of Multilingual Task Force, and now the Vermont Language Justice Project, was in putting that information in the 10 and now 14 core languages, including ASL, and in the format that people can easily access. And also through the trusted channels. And what I mean by that is through, people like Irene and other case managers and community workers, through ALV, USCRI, or other organizations in the community.
So I work and live within a community of newly resettled refugees from Africa and other parts of the continent. And part of my job at ALV is to help the Swahili speakers, which is a language I speak, overcome their barriers and whatever is stopping them from fully engaging as Americans, as new Americans. And right from the onset of COVID, there was a need for the communities to get the information that was happening, and it was apparent that there needed to be outreach, more outreach than they were getting from just areas of dissemination that were not hitting a wide range of people. And so by collaborating with the Multilingual Task Force and taking steps that dramatically reduced individuals with the language needs that were not getting this access to understand the information that was difficult to work out because it was not everyday language, and some of the information was coming from public health and also from the governor's office. The need for interpreters was critical. And so I collaborated with Alison, the Vermont Language Justice Project, and almost weekly we were getting information that was changing rapidly. Every 2 weeks or every week there was updates, and so she would send information to us, and then we would translate it, and then we would disseminate it to the communities.
Back in March 2020, when COVID was becoming a big thing, I was just noticing that there really was nothing available for people that didn't speak English, particularly people who didn't speak English and weren't familiar with the internet and trying to find information. So I talked with a friend of mine who spoke Somali, my friend Mohammed Jaffa, and between us we wrote a script, and he translated it into Somali, did a little video, and we put it out on we set up a YouTube channel and we put it out for people to watch, and he sent it out through all his social networks. So we started putting that script into different languages, and they went on the YouTube channel, and within like 2 or 3 weeks we had information about we had information about COVID in about 15 different languages. We then started meeting as a group of service providers and community partners. And our initial meetings would have maybe over 40 people coming, who all worked with refugees and immigrants and wanted to get the information out. And like the key organizations, particular Amila's organization, USCRI Vermont, and Irene's organization, ALV, were really key in helping us find reliable translators who could take on the task of what at times was quite complicated messaging. So fast forward about 6 months, we had like very small grants to do the work. And I just knew it was really crucial to pay our translators well. We got some money from Vermont Department of Health so that we could do that. And then again, so we just continued putting out videos, and it was very clear that it was a very useful resource. People were looking at the videos, and we could tell that very easily from the numbers on the YouTube channel. Fast forward again to June this year, 2021, we were awarded some money through the CDC, through the Vermont Department of Health, to expand the project and to make it more stable. It meant that we could take the project off of my kitchen table, where it had laid for like 18 months at that point, and I was working basically weekends on top of my full-time job. And we set up the Vermont Language Justice Project, which is now housed within CCTV on North Winooski Avenue. I work 4 days a week. We've expanded our translators from 10 to 12 so that we could accommodate the new arrivals from Afghanistan. And we're now collaborating with ASL sign language so that we can also add that to our website as well. And I think to date, I looked yesterday, I think we've had 37,000 hits on our YouTube channel and over 3,000 in the last 2 weeks. So it's very clear that it's still very much used, I think, within Chittenden County and beyond.
As with everything else we do in Vermont and in our community, it's often thanks to those close relationships and partnerships that, you know, make something a success. Something like, you know, refugee resettlement. It's a partnership. It cannot be done in the vacuum, and it's all the various organizations that play a part that make it a success. So Multilingual Task Force, as Allison mentioned, started in Allison's living room with, you know, 2 people coming together, and then, you know, Spectrum Youth Services joined, and then, you know, others followed, such as ALV, USCRI, the, you know, representatives from Burlington and Winooski and the medical center and so forth. So it grew into a task force of about, you know, 40, 50 people at times. And, you know, those collaborations, those partnerships were critical in not only identifying, you know, the core languages, for example, the ways we can, you know, more successfully distribute the message, but also other critical needs that exist in various communities. So, for example, you know, when in those early days, when, you know, there was no vaccine, when people were being impacted by COVID, and when people were in isolation, they, you know, they couldn't go to work, so were losing wages. They couldn't go to a grocery store. So between our 2 agencies, you know, we were providing emergency assistance, financial assistance, food, cleaning supplies. And nowadays, you know, it's thankfully, a lot of us are vaccinated and boosted, but people are still being impacted. And so to a lesser degree, we're having to provide those support services, but, the needs still persists.
One of the really big collaborations that we had were with Winooski and Burlington school districts. So what's great about those two school districts is that they have a pretty sophisticated system now when they need to get a message out in different languages. So if there's a snow day, you speak Nepali, you will probably get a message in Nepali saying today is a snow day. So we utilized the school district's robocall system and would send them just sound files of the information, and then they plugged those sound files into their robocall system. So we're reaching basically every family that speaks one of the now 12 languages that we're doing it in, whenever we have a message. So right now we're working on a message about medical treatments available if you develop COVID. That will be sent out to 2 school districts and reach hundreds and hundreds of people. One of my Vietnamese translator attends a Catholic church and also a Buddhist temple, and she sends the messages out to her community in one fell swoop every Friday and every Saturday. We work with the medical center up at UVM. I know that Dr. Green up there uses some of our messages to her patients and her patients' families when they come in. So we have a really wide range of people, and I think what's exciting now that it's off my kitchen table and in an office is that we're beginning to reach out to the wider Vermont community. So down in Brattleboro, where they have people that speak other languages, Addison County, where there's a significant Spanish-speaking community, we're actually beginning to reach out and figure out how to get our messaging out to Vermonters. We're welcoming Vermonters, we're welcoming people in, and we're saying you're now a Vermonter. So we need to be reaching everybody. So I feel like we're at an exciting time when we can expand out of Chittenden County into the wider Vermont and develop even more community partnerships.
Today and in these pandemic times, I know that there are many organizations that are relying on phone or audio or visual interpretation services to help communities to understand critical information. And when I think that really makes it easy for communities to understand difficult concepts that are hard to figure out, especially when the audio doesn't really cover it in a way that a non-English speaker would understand it. So with the help of a video, it makes it easier. Like recently we did videos that illustrated how to use the test kits. First, we did the script. Even while I was doing that script, it seemed so daunting to me. And then finally, when the script was put together with the video, it became easier, and anyone can do it. So times are changing, and I think within the next 5-10 years now, there'll be more people who are technical savvy, and people will understand new ways of communicating. It's been so hard. And communication is really, really, really important for non-English speakers, because they come with their culture, they come with their heritage, and they have to find a way to have that interplay with the American culture. And so when we have more ways to break down communication and make it easy, then I think there will be more understanding, and the communities will feel that they are being served too, because language is a piece that is part of equity. There must be language. It grounds the people. It helps people feel grounded to where they're living. But if they don't have any language, then that's so hard.
You know, COVID is going to come to an end. It is. I'm telling you that now. And then so then, right, what do we do? So I think what we've really realized, and it really isn't rocket science, is that messaging about health issues needs to continue to be done in a different way for certain populations than it has been in the past. So where I get excited, because I'm really sick of COVID, and the way I can hold on and get excited about the future is that we start producing messaging about anything that your doctor might tell you you have to do or you might have, so that there's videos and sound files available to non-English speakers about whatever's going on. So for example, when a new arrival arrives, one of the first things they do is they have to have a physical examination, you know, and so wouldn't it be great if there was a video in your language, whatever that might be, in Swahili, that says, this is going to happen and this is what you're going to expect, so that you're not walking in there not knowing what's going to happen and not knowing what's going to be expected of you. I spoke to a Burmese speaker the other day, and she said, you know, people get sent up to the hospital for x-rays. People don't really know what an x-ray is. They don't know what's expected of them. You have to change your clothes. You have to stand in certain ways. What is a mammogram? I mean, everything really. Again, as I say, it's not rocket science, but it's something that we as people who can speak English and can navigate the internet take for granted. When I was told I had to have a colonoscopy, I was able to look it up and find out exactly what I needed to know. That information isn't available in most other languages. So that's where I want to go. And I feel like, again, it's really simple, but it hasn't been done.